Pez here, and this is the ZWIFT HUB trainer, soon to become the ZWIFT HUB 1 trainer when I do the conversion a little bit later in this video, taking the existing 12 cog cassette off of it that came with the unit and replacing it with this new 1 cog cassette that is part of the ZWIFT HUB 1 setup. I'm going to complete that setup by adding the ZWIFT Play controllers onto my bike, testing the system and seeing how it works, finding out what's new and exciting about it, and also talking to you about my first year into ZWIFT as a 1-year Zwifter. That's why I'm calling this video Pez and ZWIFT 1 year in. I know it's hard to believe. I have been riding my road bike for somewhere around 4 decades now. In fact, I once had a turbo trainer, my very first turbo trainer that I bought for about 30 bucks off a guy. It was one of those little wind turbine things at the back. This thing made such a racket that I was living in a house at the time, and below us was in the suite below was another set of tenants. And when I set this up in my living room and would watch a show and do a training session, they used to knock on the door, very concerned, wondering what all the racket was. So thankfully, technology has evolved considerably to the point where trainers are super quiet and also super smart. I had a couple of big events coming up in June that I needed to go to. I was riding the Maratona dei Dolomiti in Italy. In fact, I made a video about that. I'll put a link to it up there or up there somewhere in this video so you can check it out. But that was my big event, the peak of my summer, and I needed to get into some good shape. So I was motivated to get back on the bike. I remember I hadn't done any riding in November, December last year. The weather was really bad. My exercise was shoveling my driveway, actually. Thankfully, ZWIFT hooked me up with this ZWIFT HUB trainer, and it was actually the first time that I ever had been using the ZWIFT training platform. So I came at this as an experienced cyclist, but as a complete noob to riding ZWIFT. So what I want to do in this video is tell you about my last year training with ZWIFT and some of the features that I like the most about it, what I use on the platform, and how I use it. Being a smart trainer, the resistance of your pedaling adjusts according to whether you're climbing or descending, going fast, going hard, racing, and on offer in the platform are all kinds of different workouts, from structured workouts to places where you can just hop on your bike and go and ride courses and ride routes, group rides where you can meet up with a bunch of people and join them for a ride online. They even have racing and have become quite famous for their ZWIFT Academy, which actually launches somebody into a pro tour contract with a pro racing team, all based on how well they perform at the ZWIFT Academy in a series of races and events. So that's actually pretty cool, but it certainly added a lot of credibility to the training platform and how much it can do to improve your cycling. When the ZWIFT HUB trainer was introduced a year ago, up until that point, anybody who was wanting to get onto the platform and use it online would be using a competitor's trainer from brands like Wahoo or Elite or Tax. What ZWIFT was finding was that there were a lot of people complaining about the difficulty of getting the different trainers connected to the platform, and they decided that to expand their market of overall users, they needed to start removing barriers to entry, make it as easy as possible for people to get onto the platform. So ZWIFT came out with their own trainer, but the real interesting thing about this is that ZWIFT launched this trainer at a price point of $499 US, which was basically less than half of what existing trainers were selling for in the market. So yeah, complete market disruption. Holy smokes, there was a lawsuit. There was all kinds of stuff going on, but basically consumers liked it. But we are here 1 year later, and ZWIFT has actually made it even easier now for people to get onto the platform by introducing this 1 cog cassette. So this is designed to work with most models of bikes, and it doesn't matter if your bike's a fairly standard road bike from the modern era, it will likely work with this. You can check out my ZWIFT HUB setup guide. They'll put a link to it right here, maybe down there as well, to see how easy it is to get this thing put together and connected. That was another one of the things that ZWIFT wanted to do to eliminate another barrier to entry, was make the trainer super easy to set up. All right, now I'm going to go through the conversion, show you what this is like, and let's see how easy this is to do. One of the things I like about how easy the ZWIFT HUB trainer setup is how easy it is to set it up. I showed you in my setup video how we switched out the axle from a quick release setup to this through axle. It was pretty easy to do with just a minor adjustment, which took me almost no time. Well, now I'm going to take the cassette off and I'm going to replace it the Hub 1 single speed cassette. And here's how fast that goes. You simply take the spanner wrench that comes with the unit. We undo this bolt. It comes right off like that. The cassette just pulls off. The new one goes on. One thing you got to be careful of is there are 3 pawls inside here. This is going to require a little bit of jiggling to get it to seat in properly. Mine actually just went straight in there, so I didn't have any kind of an issue. And I just thread the spacer back on, use the spanner to tighten it into place. And I'm not torquing this to any specific amount. I'm not over tightening it. I'm not, I don't need want it loose, but I don't need it super tight. And we are done. There it is. That is how fast that was. So now we're going to hook this back up, put the bike back onto it, get connected to the ZWIFT platform. I'm going to show you some of my favorite features of using ZWIFT. All right, the play controllers, there we go. Just strap onto the underside of your handlebar. It goes like this. We bring this in, fit it up, snug it up underneath the brake lever. I find that when I do this, I'm gonna give this a nice stretch, give this rubber band a nice stretch, and it just pumps right over top of that clicker, or that just fits right over top of the clip. I can position it into place like this. Move it up a little bit, and pretty much ready to go. Put the other one on now. The controllers are in place. One thing I should say is that they do require charging via a USB-C port before you put them on. They've got little batteries in there, rechargeable, that power them up so that they can actually connect to the game and control things. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Then we're gonna get this baby connected and start checking out the new play controllers on ZWIFT. All right, Pez fans, so here I am a year into being an actual Zwifter, and a number of things have stood out for me that I really like, the things that kind of are my favorite features of ZWIFT. The first one that I want to show you is how easy it is to actually get connected. So they talked about removing some barriers to entry for users and making it just easier for people to get onto the platform. And I've showed you that in my setup video. But one thing I like day to day is how easy and quickly it turns on. I'm gonna actually take you through this in real time so you can see how fast it is, all right? Here's what we do. Here's my computer. I'm gonna turn it on and pull up my ZWIFT app. There it is right there. We're starting that up and preparing to update. We've got a little bit of an update coming. I'm gonna do that later. And let's go. All I do is click this let's go button. It starts opening the app. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Get ready. Gives you that cool little message. They tend to change these messages from time to time, which is pretty cool. Nice to have things current. Somebody's paying attention. All right, here we go. There, it automatically logs me in. I'm already logged in, so let's start riding. So I like to run this at, there we go. Bring it up to full screen. So the next thing I got to do, I need to connect my controllers, my ZWIFT Play controllers that are on my bike. They're not turned on right now, so I'm going to go to the bike. I'm going to turn them on, just behind the camera, holding down the power button. That's coming on, and that one is coming on. There we go. Check this out. It tells me right here, it's connecting. Ah, we're connected. Okay, great. So those are all set to go. My controllers are connected, the bike's connected, power source is connected, my resistance is connected, my cadence is connected. The only thing I'm not running right now is a heart rate monitor. If I had it on, it would show up and just be connected as well, which is great. So let's get rolling. Here we go. There. And now I am into the interface. I'm ready to choose my workout, choose my ride, and get going. That took what? Less than a minute. Another thing that I really like about the interface is, and ZWIFT in general, is how it has basically managed to make indoor training a lot less boring than it used to be. One of the biggest barriers to entry for me to training indoors was just the sheer boredom of the whole thing. Sitting on my trainer, making my legs go around and around in circles for an hour. Little truth here, little reveal. For me, An hour ride on my trainer actually is only 45 minutes, and that's because I can't seem to make myself go longer than 45 minutes. One thing that I do really like about Zwift is it actually takes the boredom out of it. It makes this whole process so much more palatable, not just because they've got so many different rides and so many different types of workout activities for me to choose from, but actually because there are other people doing this at the exact same time as I am. So there is this sense of shared suffering. There's an actual community of people, and that is kind of cool. Now, as I've been riding, I'll start to see the names of the same riders showing up on rides I do. People from different countries doing the same schedule as I am, and hey, there's that guy. Another one of my favorite things here is that there are so many different options and rides to choose from. So I tend to like the group workouts. This one started a minute ago. Let's just take a quick look at that. Here we go. If I choose to get into this thing, it's called Bonbon. It's got available to anybody who's pushing from basically beginners up to expert riders at 1 to 5 watts per kilogram. It's a 40-minute ride. It sounds perfect for me. Little description here. Great workout to do on a consistent basis. Works on muscular strength and endurance. Here's another group ride. Okay, starts in 7 minutes. You know, I might just make that one. Let's see, jet base, we've got the different groups. So this one shows you really the different groups that are available in here. You've got your A's, the very fast guys who are pushing 4 to 4.5 watts per kilo, the B's, the C's. I would say this year when I start riding, I'm gonna be probably more in the D's and C group. When I'm kind of fit, I'm usually running around 3 watts per kilo is kind of my zone of happiness on this thing. If you wanna do a race, the racing in here is actually pretty intense. I have done a couple of races, found myself attacking straight out the back at times. They're pretty fast. I do find that the races tend to be faster than the group or the training rides, and they do tend to be pretty intense, just like an actual race would be. They give you, of course, a bunch of information, lots of options. Up here, we've got Zwift events happening. The Tour de Zwift is on right now in January. Flat is fast. Z Racing is a program that's happening right now as well. And then the Tour Down Under, you can do some rides around that, which is on through the month, actually. So these change up throughout the season. They have lots of these going on. There's always something interesting and new to try, which is pretty fun. Again, killing the boredom, making this a lot more interesting. At the end of each ride, you have the opportunity to save it. But I do like to have a record of what I've done. In the old days, and actually still, I write it down on an actual calendar on my wall in red ink, all my rides, so I can look back at the end of the month and kind of see how many rides I did. Gives me some kind of satisfaction, some feeling of accomplishment. I think it's nice to have this data available if I want to come along and see how far I've gone in the year and track my progression. It makes me feel like I've actually done something. Let's see who's riding today. So if I wanted to, I could actually join up with some other Zwifters and see what they're doing. This is just a list of people who are on right now. There's quite a few of them actually. Some people from, some homies from Canada, people from all over the world. The UK, France, Belgium, the United States, Germany. Lucas Conley, let's see, what's he doing? How do I start ride? Join him, start the ride. Let's pop in and see what that looks like. Loading New York. Oh, there you go. Assist end so I can join. There I'm joining, and look at everybody riding here, riding around Central Park in New York. Ah, what a great way to spend the afternoon. In addition to the structured workouts, there are a number of free rides. You can just choose what's available today. Here we've got the Chain Chomper on Makuri Islands, Countryside Tour on Makuri Islands. That's actually pretty fun. Both of these are good. Group rides we have down here, races, workouts, structured workouts. This app is loaded with all different kinds of structured workouts that can be as easy or as hard as you want. 50 minutes, 40 minutes, 30 minutes. There's something in here for everybody. Also group rides, tons of them happening right now. I'm just scrolling across the screen here. There are all kinds of group rides happening right now. Ooh, we can ride the Col d'Aspin, available for 2 days. Ooh, I'd like to do this. Never actually done this one in real life. So look at that. I can do a simulated version of riding the Col d'Aspin. It is a 13-kilometer climb. Probably gonna take me, that's at least an hour worth of sitting on my bike. Might be a little long for me right now. If you're looking for a longer ride, there's definitely something in here for you. Check out the 4 Horsemen ride I've just pulled up here. 90 kilometers long, 2,111 meters of climbing. Profile looks like this with a big ass climb in there. They're saying it's more than 90 minutes for most riders. Well, yeah, 90 kilometers, okay, for sure. This is great. So, oh, and at least they warn you, this is gonna hurt. Yeah. So there you have it, one of my favorite things. killing the boredom of riding. But I would say results-wise, how good does it work? Well, obviously it's going to work a little bit different for everybody, but my own experience has been sitting on this trainer for a month, working with Zwift for a month of riding it, maybe 2 months at the beginning of January through February before I actually start getting out on the road. I really have noticed actual benefits to my riding. For me particularly, what it does is it helps with my spin, it helps my cadence. I tend to ride at a high cadence, and sitting on the trainer, I'm able to focus on my technique, on my form, on just riding at that higher cadence and spinning faster than I am on the road. And then, of course, I actually did have more power because of the fact that I'd been training and putting my legs under load and actually building up my muscles and a bit of my endurances here as well. So getting out onto the road was actually a lot more enjoyable than it has been in years when I didn't use Zwift and I wasn't sitting on the trainer getting better. That's how it's played out in my own experience. So it's been a good year on Zwift. I'm looking forward to 2024 and spending more time on this. The weather here is going to be pretty bad for the next at least few weeks or so, which means I'll be spending lots more time on the platform. So that's how it's shaped up for me after my first year on Zwift. And as the YouTube mantra goes, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Yeah. Best fans, thanks for watching. Keep the rubber side down. Enjoy your training. Let me know how it goes. And maybe I'll see you out there on Zwift.